$100 million gone from a local nonprofit.
Their life has been completely devastated.
Impacting hundreds of families across the country and right here in the Bay Area.
What's happened is disgusting and should never have happened.
Now, a big development in this 8 on Your Side story.
I'm investigator Brittany Muller. The federal government is stepping in amid chaos inside this building. Tonight, I'm getting answers.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Lee.
And I'm Josh Benson. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Well, tonight, big moves in an 8 on Your Side investigation. We first told you about a local nonprofit that is missing $100 million from a trust account for some of its most vulnerable people.
Now, the Center for Special Needs Trust Administration is also missing a board of directors. They have resigned. Investigator Brittany Muller is here now. And Brittany, these were the last of the center's existing gatekeepers, all gone.
Josh and Jen, that's exactly right. All gone. Just to catch you up, the Center for the Special Needs Trust Administration in St. Petersburg manages $200 million of vulnerable people's money, and more than half of that money is missing. So I went to the center, and wait until you see what I found. It's like a ghost town at the Center for Special Needs Trust Administration.
Hi, sir. My name is Brittany Muller.
The only person who answered the door, an off-duty St. Pete police officer. This after the center's board all resigned. And outside...
We just came to help some people to move out some stuff on the way up.
Oh, on the 3rd floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, suite 301?
301?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're stunned like we are, let me catch you up. According to this filing, a month ago, the center filed for bankruptcy after learning its founders, Leo Gavani and John Stoughton, loaned themselves $100 million over an 11-year span and have not repaid it. Just last week, I spoke with the center's spokesperson, Beth Latham, who told me the center's new leadership is on it.
And we're heartbroken. We just hate that this is happening, and we're working round the clock as much as we can, all of us, to try and get that money back where it belongs.
Do you know where the money went?
No.
But as of this week, the board has resigned, which makes what Latham told us just last week even more concerning.
Is someone overseeing, or is there oversight for a trust fund management company like the center? Is there a state government agency that oversees the center?
Not that I'm aware of.
So who's now in charge of running a center that is managing $100 million of vulnerable people's money and looking for the other $100 million that's missing? The federal government is appointing a trustee, according to this bankruptcy filing.
We're an independent person in this case. Will bring in their own investigators into the corporation, the nonprofit corporation in this case, and will provide their own independent accounting that will give us a better understanding of who's been affected and to what extent.
Thomas Leader is the managing partner at Leader Law based in South Florida.
What's happened is disgusting and should never have happened.
Leader is so outraged that he and another attorney filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of the Chamberlain family.
Their life has been completely devastated.
15-year-old twin brothers Clark and Sawyer were born prematurely and ended up in the NICU. Clark is now disabled.
I represented the Chamberlains in the underlying medical malpractice case that came to a conclusion at the end of 2020.
Leader says the family received a large settlement in that malpractice case. Money for Todd and Kelly Chamberlain to use to take care of Clark for the rest of his life. To protect Clark's money, it was placed in a trust at the center.
They believed that they had the financial security for Clark going forward, and that was the ultimate goal for the family.
But on Valentine's Day, that goal was crushed when the Chamberlains discovered not only the center that manages their son's money filed for bankruptcy, but also that their son's money was all gone. How much money was drained from their son's account?
It was a substantial amount of money. I can tell you this, they're one of the top 30 creditors that's been listed.
This bankruptcy filing shows a list of creditors or families that have been most impacted from the center's missing money. One family had more than $4.5 million drained from their account alone.
Something like this should not happen to the most vulnerable people of our community. After fighting tooth and nail to receive what they felt at the time was a fair and just result, to only have that taken away, it just adds insult to injury.
I've been trying to get in contact with Gavoni for 2 weeks now, and I tried getting a hold of Staunton. I previously told you they left in 2009, but still had control over the center according to the bankruptcy filing. So I went over to one of their businesses located on 49th Street in Clearwater. Gavoni's son came out to talk with me and directed me to his father's attorney, Eric Koenig. I've been trying to reach him as well, but maybe he lost my number or doesn't have my email. So here it is with the hope I'll get a hold of him. My phone number is right up on your TV screen. It's 813-221-5767. And my email, bmuller@wfla.com.
Okay, so no excuse at this point for them to say, well, we didn't have your number, or you didn't leave your number, or leave contact information. You've been trying for some time to reach them. You did speak to the woman, the spokesperson for the center last week. She had a lot of answers for you. What is she saying now?
So I actually got a hold of her today again, and our call dropped. But she says the center is not moving, but we couldn't get any further clarification. So we're staying on this.
But after the call dropped, you tried to call right back.
I did. She didn't answer.
She never called back either.
No.
Okay.
Interesting.
More to come.
All right.
Thanks, Brittany.
Thank you for that. If you have something you want Brittany to investigate, call our 8 on your side helpline. That number is 1-800-338-0808.
A Hernando County pool company continues to be in the hot seat. The county has suspended permitting privileges for West Hernando pools and spas. Owner Frank Bierweiler appeared before the Hernando County Special Masters meeting to ask for those privileges back and to explain the progress he's made on finishing pools. The company has more than 100 unfinished pools, some dating back a decade. The Special Masters extended the suspension of permitting privileges for at least another 60 days, and homeowners are frustrated.
He blames it on the concrete guys. He blames it on subs. I don't know if there's any truth to these excuses, but from my point of view, it's just another excuse.
Do you have faith that he can finish all these pools?
I have my doubts. So, I mean, I got my fingers crossed, but I have my doubts.
The contractor has finished 12 pools in the past month, but the Special Master said that isn't enough progress.
Beautiful warm weather. We have some high clouds streaming in from the Gulf, but I think it'll still be a really nice sunset. We've made it down to 83, so we've started our very sluggish cool down. As far as the forecast goes, you can see we're going to see an increase in clouds over the next couple of days, but we don't get chances for rain until after the weekend, so that's the good news. Here's a look at your current temperatures. Certainly warmer over inland areas, well into the mid-80s in most of Polk County, as well as down in Sebring and Bowling Green. We're in the low 80s in Lakewood Ranch and Tampa and Brooksville. We're in the 70s right along the coastline in Newport Richey and Crystal River, as well as Sarasota. The cool down will be slow this evening. Here's how the rest of the evening looks. Couple of passing clouds around sunset. It's much warmer than last night. We're sticking to the 70s for hours this evening. In fact, we don't slip down into the 60s until early tomorrow morning, and this is what you're waking up to. We'll be in the low 60s along the Nature Coast, mid 60s over inland areas, and upper 60s and low 70s along our southern coastline. We're going to turn the heat up just a notch tomorrow. Could end up being the warmest day this week. We'll take a look at that forecast hour by hour coming up next.
There are some new developments involving the triple shooting in Lakeland that killed an adult and a 3-year-old child earlier this week. Lakeland police have released the names and photos of the 2 men believed to be the shooter and the getaway driver. They are 30-year-old Kavarius Green and 22-year-old Demarius Wilson. Chief Sam Taylor says Green is the one who fired the rifle into an SUV outside of Cambridge Cove Apartments Monday night. That gunfire killed 3-year-old Jaquez Norton. Police now also say it was also bullets from Green's rifle that killed his alleged accomplice, Camarius Wilson. Police suspect Wilson's brother, Demarius Wilson, was the driver.
We do not know where they are right now. We have some good ideas and some areas that we would be interested in looking, but we do not know where they are as of standing here today talking to you.
Chief Taylor says the men have ties to Lakeland, Plant City, and Orlando. Crime Stoppers is offering a $5,000 reward for tips that lead to an arrest.
Tonight, Haiti is in chaos with gang violence escalating. A new team of U.S. Marines has been deployed to secure the American embassy. Haitians are trying to escape, and many Americans in the country have found themselves trapped with no way to get out. The UN says 1 million Haitians are now on the brink of famine. Mission efforts from the Bay Area have been suspended for now because of increasing danger in Haiti. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson reports from Venice.
Agape Flights, based here in Venice, has been doing missionary work and flying relief supplies to Haiti and other Caribbean nations for the last 43 years. But those efforts have been put on hold for now because it's just too dangerous to go to Haiti. Inside the hangar of Agape Flights in Venice, relief supplies are starting to stack up. Supplies they would normally be flying to Haiti.
We impact a lot more than just individuals. We impact families as well as large groups that have many employees.
But Agape Flight's CEO Alan Spear says right now Haitian airports are closed and there is no way for them to continue their work.
It is, quite honestly, total anarchy right now.
Mark Stockland has been doing missionary work in Haiti for 15 years and describes the scene in Haiti as one of desperation.
There's a desperation that I haven't seen in 15 years for sure.
He says as people are starving, the violence is increasing.
There's been more shootings, more beatings than, hands down, than I've ever seen. And I got friends who have called me and told me there's bodies laying in Port-au-Prince and it's just unsafe to go pick them up.
He left Haiti in January with his wife and children and can't go back right now because he says Americans are being targeted.
They look at us as Americans with money, a way to get something that they don't have.
Alan Spear hopes to go back soon, but says things will have to change.
I just want to see this chaos stopped and for folks to be able to sit down and say, here are our steps.
But right now, no one is saying what those steps might be. In Venice, Jeff Patterson, 8 on your side.
NBC Nightly News will have much more on the deteriorating situation in Haiti. Gabe Gutierrez is on the ground in the Dominican Republic along the border with Haiti. And that's ahead in just a few minutes right here on News Channel 8.
A couple of Bay Area law enforcement officers had a terrifying brush with death just a few months ago.
Yeah, someone ran them down, leaving them with life-changing injuries. And now they're receiving some well-deserved recognition. Still had the big honor they were given today. And why their boss says they are shining examples of the best of the best.
Plus, coming up in sports, after 2 years away from the Bucks, Jordan Whitehead knew he wanted to come back. He talks about his happy return to the Bay Area.
You're watching News Channel 8 at 6, Tampa Bay's most watched 6 p.m. newscast.
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is honoring 2 of its own who survived an intentional attack back in November.
Yeah, a man rammed a vehicle into both of them in Brandon, leaving the deputies seriously injured. And this afternoon, Sheriff Chad Chronister awarded both deputies for their bravery. News Channel 8's Nicole Rogers joins us now live in Tampa. Nicole, we just found out both deputies are actually back at work.
They are. It was a really exciting announcement today. They are on light duty here at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, but they say they are just excited to be back and serving their communities after what they describe as the scariest day of their lives. Courage and fortitude. 2 words Sheriff Chad Chronister says describe the actions of 2 of his deputies on November 9th. When Corporal Carlos Brito and Deputy Manny Santos were ambushed as a suspect rammed them with a car in Brandon.
At the scene, there was a quick second that I thought I could die, and I left my wife a message so she know that I loved her.
Both deputies are now being awarded the prestigious Silver Cross Award for bravery.
These 2 continue to set the standard when you talk about courage and perseverance. And they certainly, when you think of every attribute that is the Silver Cross Award, here's your shining examples right here.
Now, 4 months after the attack, Deputy Santos is back at work, this time on light duty in the Auto Theft Task Force.
I'm happy to go to work. When I got the call, I'm pretty sure that the sergeant that called me was probably like, why is he so excited to go back to work? I'm just happy to go back to normal.
As for Corporal Brito, he's still wheelchair bound, but also back at the sheriff's office working on evidence dispositions. His message to the community, never stop fighting.
I feel like if anyone can take any good thing from this situation is never give up. No matter how bad the situation is, there's always somebody that works, that overcome. So just never give up.
Both deputies still have a long way to go, but Josh, what a remarkable story of perseverance.
Yeah, it's absolutely cool to see those guys back at it and healthy. Nicole, what's the latest on the suspect now? We know he was charged with 3 felony counts for that attempted first-degree murder on a law enforcement officer. Where does that all stand?
Right, so that suspect's name is Ralph Boozy. A judge ruled that he was incompetent to withstand trial. But if he does go through treatment and that treatment restores his mental status one day, he could soon see the inside of a courtroom and possibly stand trial.
Okay, we'll always be watching. Nicole Rogers, live for us in Tampa. Thanks so much.
Max Defender 8, the most advanced weather radar in Florida.
The snow is really piling up in Colorado. Check out this time lapse from the Eldora ski area in the Rocky Mountains. They're estimating 30 to 40 inches of snow in a 24-hour period, but it's so snowy that no one could get to the measurement location for an exact total. It snowed so much they couldn't open, so that's quite a bit of snow. Different weather pattern for us, of course. We're in the mid-80s right now, feeling a little bit more like spring. Now, it is unfortunately getting a little more humid, but the good news is we have a cold front on the way on Monday that will drop our humidity once again for the middle of next week. It does bring some chilly temperatures with us, but at least it doesn't get here until Monday, and that preserves our weekend forecast. Things are quiet right now. We have some high clouds streaming in from the Gulf, and that's about it, but I don't think it's enough to interfere with sunset. It is going to be warm overnight tonight. It's a very slow cool down, but it's lovely. We're in the low 80s leading up to sunset. We get into the upper 70s around sunset, and then we stick to the mid 70s for hours this evening. Now, you will wake up in the 60s in most locations. Here's an hour-by-hour look at that slow cool down this evening. A little cooler in Crystal River as usual, mid 70s there by 8 o'clock, but they're waking up in the low 60s along the Nature Coast. Most of us are waking up in the mid to upper 60s. St. Pete's waking up at 70. This is where we kick your Finally Friday forecast off, and we're turning the heat up a notch because we have lots of sunshine, almost no cloud cover tomorrow afternoon, and that means we will get well into the mid 80s along I-75 and to the east of I-75, upper 80s, possibly flirting with that 90-degree mark. It'll be a little cooler along the coastline thanks to the cooler temperatures moving in, that cooler breeze moving in from the Gulf. But that's your warm point, mid to upper 80s along into the east of I-75, low 80s and upper 70s for the coastline. There's only a 10% chance for a pop-up shower tomorrow afternoon. And then on Friday evening, it's beautiful again. 70s for the evening hours, nice and mild. Saturday, a few clouds move in. We wake up in the mid to upper 60s in general, and then we warm back up into those low 80s. There's another tiny chance for a pop-up inland shower, mainly in eastern Highlands County during the evening hours, but the rest of us will stay dry on Saturday and for most of Sunday. Now, Sunday, the front will start to push into Florida, and so we may see a prefrontal very light shower or two. It would be more likely to the north of I-4 than to the south of I-4, but your chances for rain on Sunday are only around 20%. So it's remaining dry, warm, and quite breezy on Sunday. And so your weekend is preserved by that slow moving front. It just doesn't get here in time to ruin the weekend. But Monday, especially in the middle of the day, we're expecting showers, widespread storms. It's all associated with the cold front pushing through. It does continue to push through, which brings us colder, drier air, lowers our humidity, and also our temperatures on Tuesday. But here's that warm weekend, 83 on Saturday, windy, cloudy, and warm on Sunday for St. Patrick's Day in those mid 80s for the St. Patty's St. Pete Fest. Here's a look at your 8-day forecast. Mid 80s for the next several days. Gets pretty breezy on Sunday. It's windy and wet on Monday, and the breeze stays with us as we move into Tuesday and we turn awfully cool. And so temperatures will be in the 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. So don't put away the sleeves just yet.
Ooh.
That might be the last gasp, though.
I hope. I'm tired of these 50s.
Keep them around a little longer.
No.
Oh, okay. All right, now here's a look at what's coming up tonight on News Nation.
Cuomo, Carlson, a record-breaking conversation. Cuomo's most watched interview ever. 500,000 viewers and watched by more than 25 million people online. America's choice is News Nation, a cable news channel with balance, not bias. Great show, great discussion. If you're looking for a news channel that respects all Americans, try News Nation. Welcome to the new media. And if you missed the conversation, watch it online now at newsnationnow.com. To find News Nation, go to joinnn.com.
And that's all coming up on the fastest growing cable news network in America, News Nation, available on the channels you see right there on your screen.
Everyone's morning starts a little differently.
Ours starts with today's news.
For Lee and Amanda, it's preparing you for the day's weather.
And Deanne's getting you through your commute.
No matter how you start your morning,
Wake up with us weekdays starting at 4:30 a.m.
Well, so far in free agency, Bucs GM Jason Licht has done a tremendous job of getting the band back together. Now the Bucs have players that have left the team wanting to come back, and an important piece on the defense returned today. Safety Jordan Whitehead back after 2 seasons with the New York Jets. He couldn't be happier. His position coach is still here. His best friend, Antoine Winfield Jr., still here. And Whitehead feels that he returns as an even better player than before.
I've just been upstairs for the last hour or two, but it feels like I never left. People, how much love I'm getting, just brings back a lot of memories, and everybody in the building just being back for the second time. I can't be happier.
Now the Lightning's long gap between games hasn't cost them too much this week. They enter tonight's game against the New York Rangers as the top wild card team in the Eastern Conference. If the playoffs began today, this would actually be their first round matchup. Very tough draw. We've seen the roller coaster pitching performances so far from the Rays in spring training, but starter Zach Littell is having a really good build-up to his season. He struck out 6 Braves hitters in 5 innings in a 3-1 Rays victory. Littell actually asked pitching coach Kyle Snyder if he could keep going.
No, I told Kyle I wanted one more, but it was a hard no. So, yeah, it was a day like today. Obviously, you want to keep going.
Good to see one of our key guys go out and just really be efficient, kind of right where he left off from last year.
Yeah, the Rays could use some good news with pitching. The way it's gone.
I don't want to jinx anything or say anything, but this is the first spring training with the yellow hats.
You like the yellow hats?
I love the hats, but I'm saying they're having kind of a
roller coaster.
Did you get a hat? A yellow one?
I don't have a hat yet. Keith Cate's been lobbying for a hat.
I know, but I want to wait and see how they play in the hats before I commit to loving
maybe
it.
it's the hat.
I love the hats.
I'm just saying.
Love them.
I do too.
They do look good.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining us. NBC Nightly News is next.
And we'll see you back here tonight at 11 o'clock, maybe with some yellow hats on. You'll never know. Have yourself a good night.